The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Sidebar, its guests, callers, and advisors are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS Verizon Media Group. Sidebar, a 103.5 The Beat podcast, is a production of ILTV Studios and may not be reproduced or represented, in part or in its entirety, without the express written consent of Verizon Media Group. Sidebar is the intellectual property of Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2024. All rights reserved.
Sorry. Here at Sidebar, we strive to answer the tough questions, like peas and rice? Question mark? Peas and rice is considered the quintessential Bahamian food. Now, why did I use the word quintessential when I know that I don't know how to spell that word? Hey, listen, I get paid more when I use bigger words. It's a thing. Peas and rice is considered the food that is the most representative of the identity and the spirit of the Bahamas. And Sidebar, it's not. Don't at me. Just know that the most Bahamian food is not peas and rice. However, peas and rice, or some variation of that, is also one of the most popular dishes in the world. From rice and peas in Jamaica to a Spanish dish that I'm not going to try to pronounce. Pairing rice and any plant from the pea family seems to be a pretty common practice. So why do we do it? Well, culture is what we do, and history is why we do it. With that said, the short answer is globalization. The shorter answer is slavery, but only by like 6 letters. Slavery explains why we have a shared connection of variations of the same dish in all the places that the African diaspora find themselves, from America to South America to places where Americans go for vacation. It's not that the peas and rice combination started in slavery. So don't panic, my Hotep brothers and sisters. It is not a secret mental stain of colonialism and bondage. The peas and rice combination was a thing already in Africa before the Portuguese decided to start collecting our people like Pokemon. Everyone thinks rice only comes from Asia, but just like there are African and Asian elephants, there are also African and Asian strains of rice. The Asian one just has better marketing. I really want to do a sidebar on corn, but I'm also reminded that I told you about the variations of peas and rice existing all over the world, and while we know how it got there, we don't know why it endures. So for that, I need to do a science sidebar. My cousin is the Minister of Education, and she's going to remind me that I can't use my platform only to make fun of Freeport gals. I have to also educate the people. So, sidebar. Why is peas and rice so popular? So you know how animal meat like steak and chicken and ribs is made up of protein? Protein is basically amino acids, and amino acids is what the body needs to repair muscle tissue and to make hormones and enzymes and all that stuff. If you had a hard day of work, maybe you're building a pyramid in the middle of a jungle or a wall on the side of a mountain, your muscles are all tired. You need protein. Are you going to have the energy to go and catch and kill an animal? Probably not. So you say, hey, let me just eat this plant growing here. But plants don't have complete proteins. They lack an amino acid here, an amino acid there. Case in point, rice is high in methionine, but low in lysine. And peas are low in methionine, but high in lysine, which means that if you put them together, you got a full protein. Basically, eating peas and rice is as good as eating a piece of chicken. Did our ancestors know that? Maybe. Or maybe there's like, but when I eat these 2 things together, babe, it tastes good, right? And the next day, babe, I just be ready to, I ready freak out, dog. There are a bunch of other things, like the fact that according to The Role of Rice and Beans, Nutrition as Medical Treatment, published by the Healthcare Review by Cornell University, eating legumes, once again, peas and beans and things like that, with rice counteracts all the bad effects of rice alone. White rice has a high glycemic index, so your blood sugar spikes. Next thing you know, you're yawning. But because peas and beans and lentils have fiber, it slows down all of that. I say all that to say, If you ever get sleepy after eating peas and rice, that means that they ain't put enough peas in the rice. So now you ask the question, so you're saying that not only I can get protein from eating peas and rice, but it also might have positive health benefits? Yes. But don't people say peas and rice bad for you? Yes. So which one is it? Yes. Here's the issue. What type of peas and rice are you eating? Because, I mean, if it's the peas and rice where it's just the traditional peas and rice, like peas, rice, onions, tomato paste, some thyme, some salt, you're probably good. But if you start throwing all sorts of things in there, like half a pound of bacon and some salt beef and crab fat, then it becomes something else. I mean, it's still technically peas and rice. And maybe it's our attempt to make the celebration rices that our ancestors would have eaten on the continent, like a distant cousin to jollof rice. But my friend, you're not supposed to eat that every day. Traditionally in the Bahamas, and although I am saying traditionally, I really mean during the time of our grandparents, they wouldn't have eaten peas and rice on a daily basis. How could they? They didn't grow rice. And my grandparents lived in a time where electricity was a luxury and the world revolved around the mailboat. So rice would have been a special sometimes food because it would be more expensive than the food that was being grown by sustenance farmers. That is, people were primarily eating the food in their backyard that they could grow themselves. You know what they would have eaten more often than peas and rice? Peas and grits. Because of our unique history with the Southern American states, like the Gullah Geechee people of Carolina, we are pretty much the only Caribbean nation that has a history of eating grits, and only us has put peas in it. So call your local MP and the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture and let them know peas and grits is the most Bahamian food. Sorry, I just wanted to bring it back. I'm very passionate about grits and corn. Anyway, long story short is that peas and rice is fine in moderation, and it could actually be healthy depending on how you prepare it. However, based on how we are preparing it and how often we are eating it, comparing our lifestyles to people who used to walk 3 miles to get to work and 3 miles back, and they didn't eat it every day. Perhaps it's time for us to reconsider our Bahamian diet and the modern Bahamian. And that's what we're going to talk about today. This is Sidebar, 103 to Beat podcast powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back after this.
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard. I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. You walk in the taxi, you got to do the Lucky Walk, Thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You leave it at $170, brother?
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the taxi.
So if I had to choose a game that would stay, it would be Island of Taxi.
You could be next on the Island Lucky Taxi.
You wouldn't believe that number I just played, dropping quick 4. This 5K can come and clutch, my boy.
So you ain't had the mega ball on that?
You know mega ball on quick 4, my man.
Oh, okay then.
Mega Ball, now available on Quick 4. Multiply your winnings with the only 4-ball game that pays $20,000. With a draw every 30 minutes, your chances to win are mega.
I bet you I could beat you running into this long ball.
I bet you my drink will come up before yours. Well.
I bet you I could hold my breath longer.
Bet.
Hey, wait.
If it can happen, you can bet it. So why not bet with us? The Bahamas' #1 online casino, lottery, and sportsbook. We bet you won't find bigger payouts anywhere else but islandluck.com. Winners live here.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Sidebar, a 103 to Beat podcast powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, and today we have with us Jomar Farquharson from Island Aesthetics, certified trainer.
Yes, certified trainer. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So we're talking about nutrition and fitness in general.
Yes.
All right. Before we get into who you are, right? So every year. Particularly as it gets cooler, right around the December, January area, everybody seems to be hyper aware about fitness. Everybody want to lose weight. How much of that is tied to nutrition itself?
So, okay. Nutrition, the word nutrition is very broad. So I like to break it up. There's the caloric intake, the amount of calories, but then there's also the nutrients within these calories. So when you're talking about weight loss, you can lose overall weight, what is comprised of body fat, muscle tissue, and water weight, but may not necessarily be as healthy. And you could gain weight because you're eating certain foods, but you're in a surplus, so you're adding weight. So when in terms of reducing your overall weight, the main thing is to stay in a caloric deficit, but also eat nutrient-dense foods. So foods with like a single, which are comprised of made up of one single ingredient. So you have things like any sources of protein, where you have chicken, fish, you have nuts, you have whole grain, you have whole wheat bread, those sort of things. But in terms of the weight loss, the main thing would be to calculate your TDE, your total daily energy expenditure, which is comprised of three things, which is comprised of the amount of calories you need just to sustain your body. So just sitting in a chair, like what we're doing now, the amount of calories just to sustain your heart beating, your kidney pumping, and funneling water throughout your body. Also, there's the amount of calories that you need in order to execute functions throughout the day. So like walking, opening the car door, sitting in the seat, that's the amount of calories. And then there's also any physical activity, intentional physical activity. So once you calculate how much calories that you need for any given day, then in order to reduce your overall weight, you just need to eat slightly below that, like 500 calories. And consistently over time, you should lose overall weight, which will be comprised of body fat. And if you eat in high protein, moderate fat, moderate carbohydrate, then you should also sustain or if not improve your muscle tissue while you lose body fat.
So you said that you want to eat foods that are made up of a single ingredient. But wouldn't that also include potato chips?
So eating potato chips are actually a processed food like cookies and cereal. So those sort of things aren't necessarily bad. What you want to prioritize is that you want to get nutrient-dense foods. Now, there's also a process of it where supplementation, where you're taking a multivitamin or green veggie supplement, what also has the nutrients as well. But if we just remove that, for the average person, just keeping it simple, things with one ingredient generally will have slightly less processed fats or sugars. Therefore, they will be easier for the body to process and also be more nutrient dense. So these sort of foods generally will help to refuel your body, and generally you could eat volume wise, you could eat more while eating necessarily less. So for instance, watermelon. So watermelon is, I think, like 97% water. It's high in fiber, but it's also low in calories. So you could eat a large amount of this and stay full and satisfied without necessarily packing in as much calories. So it's just hacks like that in terms of eating these types of foods, which may keep you full. If you're eating multiple meals throughout the day, try to keep that in mind. So the more meals you eat, the more you may bump over your calorie. But the key is to eat things that are lower in calories, but also nutrient dense, and to move around more. And once you do these combinations together, you should generally lose weight as we go.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's gonna eat a whole watermelon every day, or maybe they will.
Maybe
they will. So you're a fitness instructor now, but you wasn't always, in shape and always a fitness instructor. Instructor. So tell us your story. How did you get to where you are today?
All right. So this was about 2015. So all my life, I necessarily were a bigger person. I wasn't as active in school and college. So I tend to sit around, like play video games. I used to eat a lot of meals out or processed food. So I never used to be comfortable in terms of my overall body. And then it's just generally moving around used to be kind of difficult. And then I wouldn't feel generally good about like my overall health. Just like in like when you lighter and you could like move around, like that generally wasn't my case. And I wasn't happy with how I looked and functioned. So I confided in a good friend to this day, Stephen Kemp. And what he said was, I know him all my life, one of my good friends. So he actually took me running with him because he used to play soccer in high school and he still was active. So we went running for the first like 4 or 5 weeks. And within that journey, I got like a level 3 sprint. I didn't realize that at the time. I was like, well, that almost took me out. I had to wear air gas for like almost a month. And then after that, I joined the gym. So it's Empire Fitness now, but it was Body Zone back then. And I joined the gym, and then I started working out. And then I also started to accumulate books and started to read stuff and go on bodybuilding.com and Testosterone Nation. And things that I read, I started to apply. And I just fell in love with working out. And then the thing is that knowledge is power. So the more I read, the more I applied. I was like, I see in progress. So I started to drop more body fat. I also started to get stronger. Then I had hit sticking points. And then what I'd have to do is just research more. I used to follow certain people and be like, let me implement this. So I did trial and error, assessed things, and then looked at the feedback from it, and then things to change. And then I just keep repeating that process. So it became like systematic after a while.
Right. And then so you went from not being active, and then you participated in like several bodybuilding competitions.
Yes. Yes. So I dropped a lot of weight over the years. So like multiple times I bulked up and cut back down for a few competitions before. But when I started, I was almost 270, like just straight, regular 270 with a lot of weight. And then I cut down, and then I had a few buddies in the gym, and they competed in bodybuilding. So I wasn't really interested at that time, but I went to a show, and then actually seeing the show, it was quite fascinating for me, and I really enjoyed it. But the thing was, to get to that conditioning was something that I actually wanted to do, but it's very grueling as you get to lower body. So that my first competition actually opened my eyes to how much I wasn't doing. So I was getting in better shape, but in terms of pushing it, and you got to do an extra 2 miles, and then the calories got to get a little tighter, and then bumping it down from 1,700 to 1,500 up in the. So that first competition put things into clearer viewpoint for me in terms of how do I get from this point from 20%, 15%, 10%, 8%, which is very, very, very difficult. You have to do a whole heap of things in order to do that. But these steps that I took prepared me to this day, and then the things that I learned, which is kind of tricky, to necessarily get from books, actually helped me on my fitness journey with individuals as well. So the things that I applied and the sticking points that I ran through and actually propelled over during these competitions allow me to provide insight to clients. So when they have sticking points, I know how to maneuver and navigate through them and get them to a higher level.
Okay. So in your training, how much of it was doing particular exercises versus the diet itself? Adjusting your nutrient intake, your calories, your whatever food you're eating. How much of it was that? How much of it was actually exercise?
So, back to what I was saying with TDE, total daily energy expenditure. So that's comprised of the basal metabolic rate, how much calories you need just to sustain living, sitting right there.
To exist.
Yes, and then there's amount of calories that it takes for you to move around, and then also for you to execute functions and digestive system, everything heart pumping.
Right.
So dropping the calories lower to the point where you just have the amount of calories you need to sustain life. Now that may be kind of uncomfortable for the general, right. But when you drop it down lower towards this calorie intake, and then you move around a whole lot more, then you increase the deficit. So generally, most individuals, most men, don't necessarily need to walk around 8%, 5% body fat. But I'm just breaking down the process. Right. But the process to get from 30% to 25% to 20 to 15 is the same thing. It just may get a little bit more stringent and a little bit more difficult as you go. So you may have to train a little bit more, do a little bit more cardio, or you may have to tighten up on the eating. But it's the same process, but generally moving towards those lines. So there's a certain point where you can enjoy life. You could eat out on the go and also stay within your calorie intake. Your performance in the gym and out of the gym can still be fine. And you can still have that desired look that you want to achieve. Right. So everything is about balance. So it's about give and take, what you can handle and what you can necessarily not handle, and then finding a balance between these two.
All right, so average person, they're not trying to get competition ready. They just want to look good in their clothes, right?
Right.
What's the body fat percentage that they're going for? And yeah, well, let's start there. What's the body fat percentage that they're going for?
So generally for men,
so it wouldn't be 10%.
No. I mean, my goodness, that's like when you grant sub 10%, you're getting very uncomfortable. However, everything is what you can manage. So some individuals, so for men, generally 15% body fat, where you see like visible, yes. So it isn't like super chiseled, but you could see some sort of imprint.
If they take a deep breath in, you might see the abs.
Yes. So, I mean, it's still, you can still see some formation, but they don't have necessarily a stomach on their abdomen.
Right.
And for women, it would be more around 20%. And at these percentages too, there is where your hormones are functioning optimally.
Right.
So when you start to dip below 10% for men and start to dip below 20% for females, then the body may not necessarily operate as efficient because you need a certain amount of body fat in order to sustain just natural hormonal processes within your body. But generally, to have like a desired look where your body fat is in a certain range where you just want to look lean, 15% for men, anything 10 to 15%, and women would be 15 to 20%.
Okay.
But these are just figures. But generally you would want to like reduce your overall body fat so that you avoid certain metabolic diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, and just heart risks in terms of your diet. So having a lower body fat percentage would also do you good long term in avoiding certain illnesses. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, what we'll do is we're going to talk about specifically the Bahamian context, right? We're going to talk about
the peas and rice.
Because the time is coming. It's I haven't had crab and dough in forever. Anyway, but the time is coming, right?
Christmas.
Christmas is here. People are going to be torn between whether or not they get the first and or second plate or how they're going to look 3 weeks from then. So when we come back, we're going to discuss that. This is Sidebar, 103 The B podcast, powered by ILTV. We'll be right back after this.
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard. I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. You walk in the taxi, you got to do the Lucky Walk, Oh, thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You only win $170, brother.
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Bang along. Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the taxi.
So if I had to choose a game that would stay, it would be Island of Taxi.
You could be next on the Island Lucky Taxi.
You wouldn't believe that number I just played, dropping quick 4. This 5K can come in clutch, my boy.
So you ain't had the mega ball on that?
You know mega ball on quick 4, my man.
Oh, okay then.
Mega Ball, now available on Quick 4. Multiply your winnings with the only 4-ball game that pays $20,000. With a draw every 30 minutes, your chances to win are mega.
I bet you I could beat you running into this lamp pole.
I bet you my drink will come out before yours. Well.
I bet you I could hold my breath longer.
Bet.
Hey, wait.
If it can happen, you can bet it. So why not bet with us? The Bahamas' #1 online casino, lottery, and sportsbook. We bet you won't find bigger payouts anywhere else but islandluck.com. Winners live here.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Sidebar 103 The Beat Podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We have with us Jomar, certified trainer with Island Aesthetics, and we are now talking about food in the Bahamian context, right? As it pertains to not just health in general, but like getting fit. There's been a lot of changes to, I would say, the Bahamian lifestyle. Even in the past, I'd say in the past 50 years, from 73 to now, and worse so before that. Our grandparents' time in the 60s and 50s and stuff, they were not working office jobs, right? They were out in the field, they were doing hard labor, intensive stuff. So the diet that they ate may have been necessary for them to eat certain things for the day-to-day life they had. So they might have been eating nothing but potatoes and lard. Although, you know, depending on which YouTube channel you stumble on, they might say eating sweet potatoes and lard is actually the most healthy thing you could do.
But they were also probably more active because the technological advances we have today cause us to be a lot more sedentary.
They didn't even have forklifts back. They had forklifts. They lifted the
walking all over the place and then lifting. So they're much more active.
So now the question is, do you think that our lifestyle, our present-day lifestyle, has changed enough to justify that we need to relook at what we consider a traditional Bahamian meal, or what we consider like the way Bahamians should like eat?
So, yes. So the things that we generally, like a typical Bahamian waking up, they can eat tuna salad and grits, or they may eat steamed tuna or corned beef and grits. And then on top of that, they can have fried chicken, or they could have, let's just even say baked chicken, but they're having peas and rice, macaroni, and coleslaw. And then when they go home, they can also have more chicken or more fish. It may be fried, or they may stop to Bamboo Shack or stop to Kentucky, but something processed, and then they having fries, and then also a soda as well. That's 3 very large meals. And then typically, the average person, they may have like a computer job or a job where they're sitting down most of the time, so they're not necessarily as active throughout the day.
Right.
So not moving around, compiled with a high diet, high in calories, where it causing a lot of hormone imbalances, is not necessarily good. So our traditional diet, where we have the baked macaroni, the peas and rice, where we having
Listen, the coleslaw is offset the macaroni.
the point it's all good, but then I'd say balance. So balance. So if you eating a heavy meal like that, we should go very, very light in the morning, or very, very light in the evening. And also, you could limit your meal frequency in order to offset calories.
Okay.
So instead of eating 3 large meals, you could eat 2 meals, and that will necessarily cut your calorie in half. And then you just need to stay hydrated and drink adequate water, so the stomach doesn't know the difference between a food and a solid. So if you drink more water, it'll necessarily curb your hunger appetite for a while, but you still need to get necessarily calories in order to refuel your body at a certain degree. So that's just a little hack. You could, in terms of if you want to necessarily eat calories somewhere else, you could reduce your meal frequency, or you could necessarily reduce the portion size, where you could eat more frequently, but you eat in smaller meals. But generally, eating those thick, dense like meals with peas and rice and the baked chicken, and you got the fried fish, that will lead to more health problems long term if we don't curb it and reduce our overall calories and also move around a bit more.
All right, now, I'm using the word traditional, but then even with that, that's kind of misleading, because traditional stuff from 60 years ago would have been a lot of boiled vegetables. They rarely, because I once spoke to this grandmother who was 90-something, and she was like, they would only eat rice like once a year, or if the pasta come over to their house.
So in terms of celebration, that would make sense.
Because the thing is, if you growing up on she was from Rocklands, right?
Right.
You already on a backwater colony, so we ain't growing rice nowhere in the Bahamas. So rice already getting imported to the Bahamas. Then you got to import it from Nassau to Auckland.
Right.
Rice ain't something that you just can eat on every day.
Right.
So you saving rice for something special. Corned beef, it's a limited resource, so you ain't gonna be eating corned beef, a whole can of corned beef for breakfast. You had to share it up among everybody. So the average meal would have been what we could grow. It would have been what we could catch. It would have been more basic stuff.
Which is unprocessed whole foods.
Right.
Yeah,
so
high more in nutrients.
If by traditional we mean historic, historically we had a healthier diet. Right. But if by traditional we mean what we know to be the practices of today and our parents' day, then that's the unhealthy thing, all right?
Yes.
So the question is, we have a very starch-dense diet.
Yes.
A lot of starch, a lot of carbohydrates, where you look at a traditional Bahamian meal has 3 different types of starch in it.
Yes.
You got rice, you got macaroni,
you got the coleslaw, you got the potato salad.
Right?
And then the meat's fried.
Right. But before we even get to the fried part, right? Are there benefits to starch? Should persons try to cut starch all the way out of their diet? I know that. Let's be honest. The fun part of food is the carbohydrates.
I would agree.
The second most fun part is the protein. Everybody
nobody
a nice piece of chicken.
That some good fats.
Right.
Some peanuts, but nobody really. That ain't that.
No,
nobody come for the show.
You like chicken, you like pork chop, but at the same time, you want biscuits. You want the mashed potato. You want something.
You're talking about the carbs.
The real carbs.
The real carbs.
So what are the benefits of carbs? Is this, as we look at the diet in general and saying, what can we remove, what can we adjust? What is the benefit of carbs, and how much should we be trying to have that inside our diet?
Okay, so there's 2 types of carbs. You got starchy carbs, and then you got fibrous carbs, and within starchy, you have low glycemic, high glycemic. But before we touch on that, there's just a carbohydrate. So everything that you eat will fall in under one of these three things, or if or three they may comprise. So you got protein, carbohydrates, and fats within anything that you eat. Now, a carbohydrate, the body, the most readily available, the most efficient source of energy would be glucose in the form of carbohydrates. So we eat carbs and it's broken down into glucose. It's processed through our system and our brain, and it's easy for the body to actually metabolize it and use it for a quick burst of energy. So if you need to do if you like physical activity, or you just need to go about your day, or you're more active, then carbohydrates is the most optimal source of energy. Now, that's not the only source of energy. You also have, there's four main sources. So the air that we breathe is also, it will be used as energy. Carbohydrates, yes. Carbohydrates is glucose. Then fats that we eat, we could get fats through coconut oil, peanut, avocados. That's also broken down into energy as well. And then the fourth energy system that we use is stored body fat. So in order for us to use the stored body fat, our body would have to manipulate the first three. And once we manipulate the first three, then we'll get to using stored body fat. And we won't use stored body fat until we are in a caloric deficit. So eating a dense meal and you going over your calories will not necessarily tap into your stored body fat. So we don't need necessarily a lot of carbohydrates. We just need the right amount of carbohydrates in our diet. And ultimately, if carbs are not within our diet, the body will go through a system called gluconeogenesis, where if you eat additional protein, that will break it down into glucose as well into your body. And also fats that you eat within your diet, fats that you get from animal sources like chicken, fish, or if you get it from like nuts or avocados or like any source of fat. It'll use as energy. So you don't have to have carbohydrates, or your carbohydrates could be a bit lower once you have adequate protein or adequate fats in your diet to compensate.
All right, so...
But if you don't... Sorry to cut you off, Steve. Right. It's just so much. But if your calorie, like I say, you're not going to just keel over and then just die, stuff like that, because the body is much more intricate than that. So when you lower your calories, the body will tap into stored body fat and use that as the main source of energy. So like I used to give this analogy to clients. If you are stranded on a desert island, you only had water. Before you die, your body fat would be used up because that's the reserve energy source. So while you're out there moving around trying to find food, your body will necessarily use the stored energy that it has in reserve while you're trying to find energy. Yes.
All right. So, yes or no on the starch? So, like, while I'm standing there on the line about to go,
should you eat those cookies? That's what you're saying.
No, I don't want a Christmas dinner. Right? It's rice and stuffing. And macaroni. Right? The macaroni is a must. I feel like macaroni is a complete food.
You asking me for like a system?
I'm saying this is for Christmas coming up. For the people, they have their plate in their hand, they're listening to you right now. They're asking you, do I put rice and macaroni, or do I just put one of them? Do I have to choose one? And okay, so there's a better question. Is it more about what I eat, or is it more about how much I eat?
Okay. The main thing, what I would say, would be getting the calories for your goal. So if your goal is just to remain overall fit, you want to have a lower body fat percentage, then what you want to do is be in a calorie deficit. So there's different ways you could actually bring that about without necessarily putting all your food on the scale and weighing it out.
Right.
And then the second thing after that would be getting all the nutrients that you need. So you're getting adequate fiber, you're getting all your vitamins and minerals, you're getting probiotics, prebiotics, digestive enzymes, stuff like that. In terms of should you eat the rice, the main thing would be to stay active and move around. And then once you have that in play, you can utilize 2 different types of strategies. So if you have, let's just say you want to go Christmas Day and you want to have like a big plate where you have the cranberry sauce and the rice, that's fine. What you want to do is just prioritize protein prior to that. So protein, the body will generally utilize protein to rebuild muscle tissue. And what it doesn't need, it'll generally excrete. So if you have a meal, and also too, if you add some fats with that, it will add as a buffer to keep you full. So if you have a high protein, low to moderate fat meal, and then later on you have your heavy meal where you have your rice and your macaroni, that will be perfectly fine, and that should fit within your calorie intake once you move around. But if you eating like that, I wouldn't say every meal have the rice and have the baked macaroni. But it's perfectly fine to have these sort of things in your diet once it's in moderation and balance. So one of the strategies, what I'd say was like to prioritize a protein meal, which is a smaller amount of calories, and then also portion sizes. So you could have like the palm of my fist, if you could have protein the size of this, and then also a piece of carbohydrate the size of your palm, and then fill it up with veggies, to fill up the other half of the plate with veggies, then this is also a good strategy to take where you can enjoy some carbohydrates, but not necessarily too much, and then you still have a large amount of veggies that will give you adequate fiber and adequate nutrients, and then they're also lower in calories as well, so that you could stay on track.
Okay. That's a lot. No, I understand. We have a lot more questions. We're going to have to bring you back, all right? We want to take a quick break, come back, let you get the final word in. We probably got to bring you back in January, but after people have made all the mistakes, and then we can come... We could revisit this, all right? This is Sidebar, 103 The Beat podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back after this. All right. 2.
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard, right here. I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. Walk in the taxi, you gotta do the Lucky Walk, Oh, thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You only win $170, brother.
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the taxi.
So if I had to choose a game that would stay, it would be Island of Taxi.
You could be next on the Island Lucky Taxi.
You wouldn't believe that number I just played, dropping quick 4. This 5K can come in clutch, my boy.
So you ain't had the mega ball on that?
You know mega ball on quick 4, my man.
Oh, okay then.
Mega Ball, now available on Quick 4. Multiply your winnings with the only 4-ball game that pays $20,000. With a draw every 30 minutes, your chances to win are mega.
I bet you I could beat you running into this long bowl.
I bet you my drink will come out before yours. Well.
I bet you I could hold my breath longer.
Bet.
Hey, wait.
If it can happen, you can bet it. So why not bet with us? The Bahamas' #1 online casino, lottery, and sportsbook. We bet you won't find bigger payouts anywhere else but islandluck.com. Winners live here.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Sidebar, 103 The Beat podcast powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, and this is the Island segment. Exuma, top food. I want to say onions, but you can't eat onion raw unless you're from Auckland. Anyway, I was told by somebody from Exuma that I should say potato bread and fried snapper. And while I've never heard of that, if it's not a thing, it should be a thing. Top site to visit. Now, I know if you go to Exuma, you really want to see the swimming pigs, but what you should do is you should go find the Royal Plantation, the one that he left for his slaves, the ones that rebelled when he tried to move them off the island and sell them. I don't think he had much of a choice. It's a Sidebar, 103 The Beat podcast powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sidebar, 103 The Beat podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna and Jomar. I'm going to give you the final word. What do you want to leave the people with?
Okay, so I would like the thing to be balance. Everything is about balance, and everything is about what you necessarily can implement on a daily basis, which you can necessarily implement on a daily basis, not this person, not that person, but what you can handle daily in terms of eating and energy expenditure. So what we want to do is prioritize moving around more, getting more steps in, or just doing cardio often, doing a little bit of strength training. The strength training could necessarily evolve. You don't have to do physical activity in terms of like going to the gym, but you could do a boxing class, you could do swimming. These sort of activities as well will also provide some sort of stimulant for resistance. But it's staying active and then just having an overall balanced diet. So once you're eating adequate protein, adequate carbohydrates, and adequate fat, and then you stand within your caloric intake, there's many calculators on the internet. You could use a calculator and then you could track it through MyFitnessPal, or you could just prioritize 1 to 3 meals with just unprocessed foods. So you got like chicken, fish, all your veggies and fruits are quite fine. You limit the fruit to like once a day. Vegetables is quite fine because fruit is fructose, which is not bad, but you want to just prioritize. And also like 1 to 3 meals, and then you stay active, everything unprocessed. And then 20% of your diet, you could have like your Oreo cookie, or if you want to have your baked macaroni or your potato salad. Yeah, you could have that and still hit your goals. But the main thing is just having a system in place and necessarily moving around more, and then just seeing how things progress and then making changes from there. And also, if you need help with putting a system in place, I do offer that through online coaching, where if you may need a plan in order to, if you utilize a gym or have equipment at home, but you're not sure how to prioritize your workouts, I have online for that. I also have nutritional coaching, where if you do know how to work out or you just need some more guidance and a system in order to set up how you want to eat to benefit your goals or stay active or reduce your overall body fat, I also do have that in play and in-person training as well. So I have multiple services and multiple different price rates. Whatever you need, we could come together, formulate a custom plan, and I got you guys.
All right. So thank you so much. We're gonna have you back on, like I said, in January, once everybody done digest their food. We come back and finish off the conversation. But thank you so much for joining us.
All right.
And thank you for joining us here at Sidebar, a 103 The Beat podcast powered by ILTV. I'll see you next week.